Okay, so let's continue our discussion of the superconforming rules. Any questions or comments from last time? Okay, so last time we had concluded that beta is equal to e to the power minus 5 and it was a del beta somebody del beta and gamma was equal to e to the power 5x. One of the main two differences was zeta, eta, all these symbols look very much del zeta and del beta. Okay, so fine. So we concluded that the beta and gamma were given by these two things, and we were in the process of discussing the stress tensor of the beta gamma system in terms of zeta, eta, and phi. So something we had concluded last time was that the phi part of the stress tensor, the part that depended on phi, was minus del phi over phi by 2. This is always true for something which has correlation function minus log z. And then there was a linear Dirichlet part, which we decided was 1 minus lambda. There's actually a type 1 Brzezinski's formula for this. This is type 1 10.4.15. 2 in the denominator should be there. Brzezinski uses a strange notation of lambda prime. We just take lambda, so plus 1 minus lambda is. Okay. Now, we wanted to you remember how we did that. We did that by comparing the OPE of the stress tensor of the current directly in the beta gamma system and distinctly phi. Okay. So now the next thing we're going to do is to compute the dimensions of beta and this zeta and eta separately. Okay? So in order to do that, what we're going to do is to compute the dimension of e to the power minus phi and the dimension of e to the power plus phi in the phi state. So that's very simple. It's something that you can easily work out if you know how they work with this linear Dirichlet CFT. And let's, you remember that the rule was that e to the power k phi was equal to minus k squared by 2 plus some number times k, where this number is proportional to this charge here. Okay? But it's always hard to remember what the number is, so let's work that out. Okay, so what we're going to try to do is work out the dimension of, let's work out this number first. So this number here, let's see, how would we work it out? You see, suppose we had e to the power k phi, and we had some number here times del squared, and we were working on the OPE of this. So this we know is going to be some number by del squared and e to the power k phi. We know that because we worked it out with some other equation. All we're interested in is finding this number. So let's look at the term in this OPE that is just proportional. This thing can be expanded into Taylor series. Let's look at the term that's 1 on both sides. Okay, that will be sufficient to determine this number. So the term that's 1 has this phi contracting with one copy of this phi. Okay, so that's del squared phi contracting with k phi. Now del squared phi, phi is minus log z. Take one derivative, you get minus 1 of z. Take a second derivative, you get 1 of z squared. So we can see that this number is k times 1, and we work out before that completes it. Okay, that's k times this number. So if your t has this object, then the dimension we've just concluded that the dimension of e to the power k phi is equal to k squared by 2 with the minus side. Okay, plus k into 1 minus lambda. our situation, k is either plus 1 or minus 1. So the dimension of each of the phi is 5. This is equal to minus half plus 1 minus lambda. So that's half minus. On the other hand, the dimension of each of the minus 5 is equal to minus half minus 1 plus lambda. So that's equal to lambda minus 5. Okay? Now, remember that the dimension of beta, which is e to the power minus 5, it's lambda minus 3 by 2 times plus the dimension of del beta. But remember what that was half less than the dimension of b. So that's lambda minus half. We conclude that the dimension of the zeta, whatever it is equal to del zeta. Okay? Similarly, the dimension of gamma was equal to 3 by 2 minus lambda. Because it was minus half and gamma was 2, and that's how this formula will go. Okay? But this is equal to the dimension half minus lambda plus the dimension of this character. Where were we? Beta. I hope that's beta. Whatever this using Kulczynski's name letters. You don't really know the names of these guys. I think this is the zeta, this is the beta, or whatever it is. Okay. So what do? We cancel the lambda here. That tells us that dimension beta. From here we conclude the dimension zeta is equal to 0. That is what derivative is 1. Okay? So this is the BC system with lambda equals 1. Okay, because the BC system has weights lambda and lambda minus 2. Sorry, lambda and weights, sorry, 1 minus lambda and 1 minus lambda. What?
How is that 1 minus lambda in the value of t in the system?
Yes.
That will be determined by the OP of this t with del phi and with the OP of t of the beta gamma system with beta gamma.
Right.
And then reading of the
Yes. Yes.
That comes out to 1 minus lambda.
That's what I got. You got something different? Did we work that last class? Okay, let's try to work it. Okay, we'll do that after class. I think it'll. That's right. Okay, we can do it. Let's do it after class. Okay, you look at 10.4.16 in Kulczynski. I think that while 10.4.15 has a mistake, 10.4.16 is accurate. He reports it as 1 minus 2 lambda prime by 2. And this lambda prime is our lambda minus half. I think that gives us this. I checked this. I got the okay.
Maybe in the conclusion, yeah, I have taken the weight of beta to be lambda.
Yeah.
So I take that, then
yes.
This condition.
Yeah, we're working with lambda is the weight of b. Beta is weight lambda minus. Okay, great. So we've got a BC system with this plane around a B, this plane around a C, with lambda equals 1. Okay? And then you can plug into the general formulas of the BC system and convince yourself that the stress tensor is equal to minus zeta times del of. Okay? So now we completely bosonize the system. The full stress tensor is this plus this in terms of phi. So this guy plus this guy. We've got 2D Laplace derivatives, we know the stress tensor, we know everything we want to know. Okay? gamma was a natural way of arriving at the theory. It was natural from the point of view of regarding it as a suitable formal field theory of PC. The thing that would prove most useful for us is the representation of this CFT in terms of the eta and zeta values. Okay? Good. So now that we've gone through all of this, we can now sit and try to use it in order to answer the question we started this discussion with, which is what is the vertex operator that represent that is dual to the vacuum state of our things. And the answer to that question is actually very simply obtained. It's outlined in last class. Okay? Let's remember the discussion. You remember beta was expanded as sum over beta m by z to the power n plus 3 halves. And gamma was expanded as sum over gamma n z to the power n minus half. Okay? And we need to start with the NS sector. We concluded that beta m was equal to z to the power n plus half beta gamma n was, well, this is true for any sector, m z to the power z power n minus 3 halves gamma. Now we use that to conclude that beta m on identity was equal to 0 for m greater than equal to minus half, and gamma m on identity was equal to 0 for m greater than equal to 3. Now you remember that the vacuum operator itself satisfies similar relations, but let's call it vacuum. Let's call it OV. O is the operator during the vacuum. Was equal to 0 for m greater than equal to half in the NS sector, and was equal to 0 gamma m on 0 OV was equal to 0 for m greater than the half. All lowering operators are handled in the vacuum. Right? So, if we wanted the stage dual to the vacuum, remember when you do this, you see, what would we have done? Instead of getting m minus half here, we would have liked to make this an m plus half. That would work if we had the extra factor 1 by z in the beta O. Okay? So we conclude that in the NS sector, O beta times OV would have been order 1 by z. And to make this 3 half, we need an extra factor z at the end. So gamma times OV is equal to order of z. We worked this out last class instrument. Okay? So that's what we want. Now we can ask the question, can we write down an operator that satisfies this relationship? In terms of these Bose-like formulas, it's very easy to do so. Very easy to do so because remember that beta is equal to e to the power minus phi times something else. We won't care about something else. It's a part of the beta CFT, and gamma is equal to e to the power phi times something else. Okay. So now consider OV is equal to e to the power minus. Let's see that what will we get? Beta of z times OV of 0 is equal to we'll have e to the power minus this 2-point function of phi of z, phi of 0 times normal of it. Now this 2-point function is minus log z. Sorry, plus because both are minus. Beta is e to the power minus phi over 2. So plus phi z prime. Okay? Okay? The 2-point function is minus log z, so that's equal to 1 by z times normal. On the other hand, gamma of z times OV of 0 will be equal to e to the power minus phi of z, phi of 0 times normal of z. Okay? so would be equal to z times. Okay? So there's a simple explicit construction. There's a simple explicit construction for the operator during the vacuum state. It's just OB. OB. Okay. Let's work this out now in the Ramon sector. In the Ramon sector, what do we want? Okay, if we were interested in the Ramon sector, we would want this thing. Okay, now of course the Ramon sector, like the VC system, we have a choice about whether we want beta 0 or gamma 0 to apply. We make the choice that is the supersymmetric partner of what we had in the BC system. That is, we make the choice that Vn is equal to 0 for n greater than equal to 0, and gamma n on OB is equal to 0 for n greater than equal to 1. This is just a mirror, supersymmetric mirror of what we had in the BC system. Okay, so now Ramon. And let's put in R. OR. Okay, now what did we say then about what the OB is between beta and OR? So we want this to vanish for n greater than equal to 0. So we want to get rid of this plus half. So if this plus half wasn't there, then it would work. So beta times O was 1 over square x. Then, so we want beta times OR be of order 1 by 2%. And we want this to vanish for m greater than equal to 1. So we want to make minus 3 halves minus 1. So if gamma times OR was order square root z, then these two will work. So you see, the operator given to the Ramond to the Ramond vacuum should have OPs. Beta with O is 1 by square root z, and gamma with O is square root z. Okay, so now tell me what is the operator due to the Ramond vacuum? Exactly. So the OR is 1 minus 5 by 2. Because if we replace 5 by 2, each of these will pick up 2 and we get square root z. Square root of what we want is 3 minus 2. So we conclude that OR is okay. That's really great. So now both in the NS sector and in the Ramond sector, we have complete understanding. Of the conformal field theories, beta, gamma, blah, blah, blah. And let's summarize. So, the full CFT matrix of the world is made up of x mu, sin mu, B, C, and beta gamma, which is the same thing as eta zeta and phi. There's more sign. Before doing this, I should have done one further check. I should have checked for the central charges of the phi plus eta zeta is equal to the central charge of the beta gamma. Let's do that. Now, if you pick up a formula from earlier this semester, we worked at the central charge of the beta gamma system. I'm just going to remind you what that is. So the beta gamma system with beta having dimension lambda minus half has central charge minus 1 plus 12 lambda minus 1. This is the central charge of the beta. Let's compare this with the central charge of the phi plus eta zeta system. Okay, so the eta zeta system has central charge 1 minus 3 lambda minus 1, lambda tilde minus 1 the whole thing squared, where lambda tilde is the lambda of that BC system. The lambda of that BC system was sorry, 3 is three and 2. This lambda, just look up Pulchinski, look up formulas from last year for the BC system. This is the formula for the central charge of a BC system with lambda equals lambda. Okay? Now, lambda tilde for the eta gamma, eta whatever, zeta system is 1. Okay, so this is minus 3. C of eta zeta is equal to minus 3. Okay? On the other hand, what is the stress tensor of the linear Dilettant system? Well, the linear Dilettant system has stress tensor 1 plus the contribution to the linear Dilettant square. It's a matter of keeping track of numbers, but you get 12 lambda minus 1. This is the slope. This is 1 plus 12 times slope square. You remember that's 1 plus slope square. Let's check that. Let's check the 12 part. You see, the stress tensor at lambda minus 1 del square phi. Okay? Now let's compute the OP of this thing. Okay? So we've got del square phi with del square phi. So phi with phi gives us minus log z. And then you have to take 4 derivatives. 4 derivatives gives us factors of 3 factors. Okay? So we get a factor of 6. 6 times this thing squared because of 2 of these. Lambda minus 1 whole squared by z to the 4. So the coefficient of this thing is c by 2. You suppose to write this as c by 2. So c is equal to 20. Okay? So we've got this one. Okay? And clearly this thing plus minus 2 is equal. Is this right? Gone?
After linear Dilettant, there will also be the component of stress tensor which is t tilde, the function z bar, that will be non-zero.
T tilde is a function of z bar. What do you mean t tilde? Yes. We're only working on holomorphic forms. In everything we're doing, holomorphic and anti-holomorphic are ideal.
But in this beta gamma theory and as well as in the also
the corresponding angle. We're doing it sector by sector. Everything is holomorphically factorized. Apart from the 0 mode of the scalar, the whole thing is totally holomorphic. Okay. You see, how did we get the beta gamma system? We essentially got it by supersymmetrizing the BC system. BC system is holomorphic. B was BZZ. There was also BZ. C was CZ. Also CZ. Okay? Great. Other questions or comments? So we've checked the central charge. Right? So let's go back to our summary. Okay. We keep this formula. Let's summarize. Firstly, the central charges of each of these series. So the central charge, so there's X, central charge. Central charge K. What's the central charge of psi? Of all the psi units put together? What is the central charge of single fermionic? Okay, single fermionic. Half. So this is fine. 10 of them. Okay. The BC system was minus 26. And the beta gamma system, well, let's work it out from here. The lambda equals 2. So it's 12 minus 1. Okay. So that's plus 11. Sums to 0. 15 minus 15. Okay. We've seen this before. Summary. Next thing we're going to do is to write down in this full theory the operator dual to the Ramon sector and the NS sector vacuums. Good. So let's first start with the NS sector. What is the operator dual to the NS sector vacuum from the X conformity? What is the operator dual to the vacuum of a free boson? Identity. Good. So we won't write anything. Identity. What is the operator dual to the vacuum of the BC system? We hear, for things that don't change the periodicity, you don't really need to say whether NS sector or one sector. What is the operator dual to the vacuum of the BC system? C. Excellent. So both in the NS sector and the Ramon sector from X and BC, we get the same answer that we have for the bosonic string, ABC. But now we've got something new from psi and beta. So what is the operator dual to the NS sector vacuum for the psi fields? It is the, come on, any unitary theory in its relatively appropriate sector has lowest energy state due to the element. Psi theory is unitary. So you have to be true, but we check this few classes. Okay, so psi field identity, no problem. What about the beta gamma system? Now this we did 10 minutes ago, so you can't say you forgot. Tell me again. E to the power minus 5, fantastic. NS sector, the operator due to the NS sector vacuum, full thing is C times E to the power minus 5. That's what our Ramon sector. X part is identity, doesn't change. C part is C, it doesn't change. What about the fermionic? That is the operator due to the Ramon sector vacuum for the fermions. So e to the power I h I by 2, and we can make this, we can add a plus minus here, and then make the sum of them. Here's this, there's a plus minus, which is independent differential. You sum of them. Which one you call the vacuum is matter of taste. It's just which of the spinner states you choose to call the vacuum. Let's choose all of them plus, for instance. Okay? And what is the vertex operator given to the Ramon sector vacuum? Beta gamma. E to the power minus 5. Excellent. So we've got in both sectors the operator due to vacuum. This, by the way, is going to be very important because you remember that the form of the unintegrated vertex operators that you insert in the word sheet, okay, are the identity in the ghost sector. Remember, in the ghost sector it was just C. I'm not identity, the individual vacuum in the ghost sector. Okay? And then, of course, it's whatever it is in the matter sector, but in particular, the vacuum. So knowing what happens, especially in the ghost sector, is very important. What is the operator doing with the vacuum equation form? It's going to be very important when we start writing in scattering. Okay, but at the moment we're not connecting with something else. Let's just do some consistency checks. So firstly, let's compute the scaling dimension of this operator. So I need your help. Tell me what is the scaling dimension of C. Minus 1. C was a vector and an upper index dimension. Okay? What is the scaling dimension of e to the power minus 5? We had a formula, you have it in your
Yes, minus half, minus 2.
I have e to the power minus 5 is lambda minus 3 half, and lambda is 2, so that's half. Isn't that way? Just check the notes, we calculate. You agree, lambda minus 3 halves. Okay, lambda is 2, so it's half. Okay, is equal to minus half. Okay, let's also compute the dimension of this net operator, the Ramon. Okay, I think it's case square. What? No, it's not case square. This is linear dividend.
Minus k square by 2 plus 3 times k. K is 1 minus lambda and k is minus 1.
So we do those calculations. Okay. Great. What about in this sector? Here we get delta is equal to c still minus 1. What about this guy? E to the power I with all these h's. What is the dimension? Good. Which is half. So e to the power I h by 2 is dimension. One half of half. E to the power I k boson has dimension but scales like is k square. So if you halve k, what do you do with the dimension? 1/4. So each of them is 1/8. How many of them are there? How many inches? 5. Boson is pairs of Fermi orbital. Alright? So plus 5 by 8. Okay. What is the dimension of e to the power minus 5 by 2? Minus half, as usual. No, minus 1/8. Okay, and then we worked out it was minus 1 minus lambda, 1 minus lambda into half. Now lambda is equal to 2, so that becomes plus half. So that's equal to oops. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Plus 3 by 4, right? This is 6 by 8. Yeah, okay. It's minus 1 by 2, sorry. This part. So, minus 3 by 8. Plus 3 by 8. Yeah, so let's just leave it like this. Let's leave it as plus 4 by 8. Yeah, plus 4. Okay, so now let's add up this with this. Okay, so we put everything by 8. So we get minus 8 plus 5 minus 1 plus 4. So that's 9 minus 9. Okay, so the weight, so what we concluded that in the NS sector, let's rub it out in conclusions. We verified that this thing has C equals 0. Secondly, dimension of the NS vacuum is equal to half. Dimension of the Ramon vacuum is equal to 0. Let's now confirm this. Let's now confirm this by computing vacuum energy directly in the Ramon NS. Okay? Now we do that using our favorite formula, namely sum over n is equal to minus 1 by 12. And sum over n plus half, we work this out 20,000 times is equal to plus 1 by 20. Okay, so let's compute the vacuum energy of the of this whole conformity theory in its NS vacuum. Okay, so the NS vacuum, I'll tell you all the contributions. There's the X, there's the psi, there's, oh that's right, okay. X, psi, BC, and B vacuum. Or maybe I should prove it as X and BC, psi and B vacuum. Okay? So the vacuum energy from here is minus 10 by 12. What about the vacuum energy from the BC system? What is the 0 point energy in this game? Firstly, how many oscillators do we have? BC system has two oscillators. Okay, what are the 0.10 Js? Okay, I should. What I'm writing down here is twice the vacuum energy, leaving on half. Because the actual vacuum energy is n by 2. I've left out the half, but I leave it out consistently. So let me put the half. Sorry. Half. Sorry. Yeah, minus 10 by 12. What was the BC system? Come on. If you were to write down a formula for the vacuum energy of the BC system, what would it be? Okay, so the BC system has different modings. Moding 0, moding 1, moding 2, moding 3. What is the vacuum energy of the system in the sector with moding A? Come on. Okay, so what is the system in this sector with moding A? Harmonic oscillators, right? What kind of harmonic oscillator? Bosonic or fermionic? Fermionic. What is the vacuum energy of a fermionic oscillator frequency A? It's minus n by 2. Right, minus n by 2. How many oscillators do we have in the BC system? With moding n? 2, right? Because we've got the B's and the C's. So it's minus n. Okay. So what we're going to get here is plus 2 by 12. See? This behaves exactly like two copies of the x's, but to the opposite side. That's the role in life of the BC system, right? They kill the two transverse x oscillators. So that better have been that it reduces 10 to 8. That's what it always does. Okay. And let's write it for the fermions. So we have half. Now what about the size? It's plus 1 by 24 or minus 1 by 24? 0 point energy of size and with moding n is what? Point energy of psi oscillator with frequency omega is minus omega, right? Because it's a fermion. So we get minus of this. Ten times the minus of this. So minus 10 by 24. Okay. Now what about beta gamma system? In the NS sector, beta gamma system is the same moding as the sines. So it's the same sum that appears, except that it's bosonic, so it appears as written. Okay, so we have plus 2 by 20. Once again, the role in life of beta gamma is to reduce 10 to 8. Okay, so let's add this up. So this is half times 8 by minus 8 by 12 minus 8 by 24 is equal to minus 4 into 3 over 24 is equal to minus. This agrees with this. Why did it have to? additively because under the state operator map, scaling dimension of operator maps to the energy of that state up to the anomalous part of the conformal transformation. Why is the anomalous part of the conformal transformation not applicable? C is 0. If you did this matching for any individual component, it will not agree. It will agree up to a shift of some C by 12 or C by 24. But all those shifts cancel because C sums to 0. So you work with the whole theory, the scaling dimension and the vacuum energy has to agree. Okay. Now we can work the same thing out in the Raman sector, but I'm claiming it's obvious we get 0. Somebody can revise it obviously. It's obvious we get 0 because the Raman sector we maintain zeros. Okay? So moding of psi is the same as moding of x. But psi's are fermionic while x's are bosonic. So vacuum energy in psi and x cancel each other. Similarly, the vacuum energy in BC and beta gamma cancel each other. You've got the same modings but opposite statistics. So vacuum energy automatically cancels. Okay. So the Raman sector will obviously get 0. And I will do this. So we've got very detailed understanding. I mean, we understood from many different points of view. We understand the vacuum energy. The NS sector is the same as the scaling dimension for the operator that is due to the NS sector vacuum. The vacuum energy for the Raman sector is the same as the scaling dimension of the operator that is due to the Raman sector. Okay, excellent. Now, the next thing we're going to try to understand is the spectrum of. Yeah, we've got lots to talk about this. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is to give you a proper definition of this operator that we deal with in it. You might remember that at the beginning of the semester when I started talking about it. Hello? Oh, thanks a lot. 17 minutes. And they said that's enough for departure. Okay, thanks. Thank you. I might be going to streets and get talking about one of the busy times. Let's boycott Europe. No, this is ridiculous. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So very good. Okay, great. So let's go. So where are we? Yeah, fermion. I wanted to define this operator that we will use a lot. You remember at the beginning of the semester when we first started trying to discuss the superstring at all. I give you a very rough and ready sort of light-on quantization, and then we tried to understand what the physical spectrum of the theory was. But in order to do that, again, anything half sensible, we imposed what we call the GSO projection. That is, we demanded that the fermion number projected to either +1 or -1, depending on our conventions of what a fermion number we assign in vacuum. Okay? If we assign fermion, the way that's correct as we see now, is assigning the vacuum fermion number -1, and then imposing projection projector onto fermion numbers equal to +1, both on the left and the right sides. Okay. Fine. So, at that point, the whole thing was sort of very rough. We're now going to do all this sort of properly. Okay? And in order to do all of that properly, we're going to, we need a proper definition of fermion. So I'm now going to give you the definition. Okay? So fermion number, okay, is the charge generated by I del H or in more human terms, fermion number of an operator that is e to the power I n I h I sum over I plus zeta phi, let's call it m phi, is equal to sum over n I. It is the charge under shift symmetry. Okay, of the simultaneous shifts in the h's and the phi's with a relative I between the shifts of the h's and phi's. Why is this my definition of fermion? You see, I want my definition of fermion number to be such that psi and psi, well, it should be some, the important thing is that it should correspond to some conserved charge. Firstly, which it does here because it's some conserved count. Okay? And the second thing that I want is that it assigns psi and psi bar, each of it assigns each psi fermion number 1. Whether +1 or -1 I won't care, because I'm only going to be worrying about -1 to the power. So it assigns each psi some odd integer. Now that clearly does it. This definition clearly does the job, because all psi's are either e to the power IH or e to the power -IH. Okay, so under this definition, it assigns psi weight 1. But we will also require it to assign beta gamma, each of beta gamma fermion number 1, or -1 to the power fermion number 1. Why will we require that? We'll see. It's because we want the fermion number to commute with the BRST charge. And the BRST charge will have terms like beta multiplying something that's linear in sign. We'll see about that. At the moment, you can take this as something intuitive, like beta and gamma should behave like psi as far as fermion number is concerned. Because beta and gamma are the opposites of psi. Beta and gamma cancel fermionic oscillators for psi. So they should have the same fermion number properties. At the moment, you can think of it as an intuitive requirement. Okay. So this requirement motivates this definition. The first requirement that psi is that. And the requirement that beta gamma, each have weight, each be assigned fermion number ±1, motivates the second definition, because remember beta was e to the power -5 and gamma was e to the power 5. Okay? So it's sort of quite a natural assignment, certainly agrees with everything that we know. And the nice thing about this way of thinking of it is that it makes fermion number, and in particular -1 to the power fermion number, a conserved charge. Maybe I'm not wrong in terms of the form. Okay. We'll come back to, this was just a comment about definition of this -1, this -1 to the power f business. We'll come back in a little bit to the importance when we start imposing projections. Okay? But at the moment, let's leave it at this and do is to try to understand in this more sophisticated language the state spectrum, okay, or of the superstring. We do this in two steps. In the first step, we try to understand it from language of its own canonical quantization. The rough intuitive picture that we dealt with when talking about the bosonic string. And then we come back and try to understand it more precisely from the language of Vienna. The grown-up way of thinking this. Okay? Now, so what's the deal? So first let's look at this OCQ point of view. So following the discussion of the bosonic string, you see, in the bosonic string, LMs were remnants of unfixed gauge symmetries, and so had to annihilate states. But we understood that the way that happened is L plus M's annihilated states, and L minus M's generated gauge transformations. Right? So in the bosonic string, we said that this old canonical quantization point of view is that the set of physical states were states such that Lm on O is equal to 0, or M greater than equal to 0, and O must be identified with O plus N minus M. Somebody remind me of the logic for this. Given this, why are we forced to do this? Suppose you agree to do the first thing. Then again, the second step is this. What? Tell me about the inner products of such states with physical states. Let's call them all states that satisfy this physics. What is the inner product of such a state? It's 0, because L minus M on chi times psi is the same thing as Lm psi, right? This is for negative. M, yeah, right, for positive. Both for positive. Which is equal to 0 by this condition. The sign. So if you impose such a condition, this works. So states were required to obey this, and there was a gauge equivalence between states of that form. Fine. So let's go back. And what's the natural generalization for the superstring? In the superstring, we have two gauge equivalencies. We have the gauge values of reparametrization, and they're supersymmetric parameters. So if we impose this, certainly we're going to impose this. Okay? And if we impose this, we will also impose this. Okay. And old canonical quantization, if you remember, put the ghost sector in its vacuum and looked for states purely in the matter sector, satisfying these physical state conditions, and modulo these gauge transformations, these gauge conditions. So let's first try to mimic that story in the superstring. Okay? And before turning to our discussion of bosonics, of the BRs. So, let's work this out. Well, I'm going to work out the tachyonic and massless states and leave as an exercise for you generalization 1 to 2. islands. Okay, so in order to work this out, we need to know what the form of L's and G's are at low level. But basically, it turns out that the only thing we really need to know in detail is what the form of G0, G half, and G minus. Of course, L0, but that's just physical statement. And the only thing that's not immediately familiar that we should write down the pieces. So let's remember what G was. G was psi del x. Del x had its expansion in terms of alpha m. But del x was alpha m over z to the power minus 1. Okay. Psi was psi m over z to the power, right? Okay. So G0, which will be relevant to the Ramon sector, and these guys will be relevant. What? So, yeah. So del x times psi is just the product of alphas and psis such that their sum is equal. Okay, so G0 is the zero mode of del x times the zero mode of well, that's right. G0 is proportional to, which is alpha 0 mu times alpha m mu times psi mu minus. The thing that will be important is that this contains a piece which is alpha 0 times psi 0. Alpha 0 remembers the momentum. Okay? So this contains P mu times psi mu. Okay? Let's in a similar manner work out the terms that will be important in G half and G minus half. G half and G minus half, by same formula, except that the sum of these two things is not zero, it is halves. Okay? So the terms that the G half contains alpha mu 1 psi minus half mu plus alpha mu 0, so P mu times psi half. But this plus is schematic. I'm not saying that actually in this case geometric coefficient is but that's what we solve it. Okay? And G minus half contains alpha minus 1 times psi half mu plus P mu times psi. These will be the only terms that will be relevant. Because we're looking at very low levels, higher levels. Okay, so now let's look first at the Ramon set. Oh yeah, let's look first at the NS set. Let's look first at the NS set. Okay, so in the NS sector, what do we have? In the NS sector, we have the vacuum. So the first question is the vacuum in the OCQ cohomology? Okay. So first question, is the vacuum annihilated by all LMs and all GMs with positive X? Answer is yes. Why? What does LM with positive M do to the energy of the state? It reduces it. But by definition, the vacuum is the state in theory of the lowest possible energy. Okay. So LMs and GMs with positive M acting on the vacuum annihilated. Okay. Good. Now, next question. Is the vacuum of the form L minus n or G minus n on such state? No. If it was, then that state would have to have lower energy than that. Because N minus n and G minus n increase the energies. But there's no such state. So the vacuum is trivially in the OCQ cohomology. Okay? So the NS sector we got a vacuum. The only physical state condition that we have not imposed is that of L0. Okay? But L0 is equal to alpha prime p squared by 4 plus n minus half. And n is the net oscillator. This minus half is because of the vacuum energy of the x. In the vacuum, there's no n. So we have alpha prime p squared by 4 is equal to minus half. There's a dipole approach which is equal to minus by 4. I think it's dipole. That's exactly switched to different conventions. Then, and so we get that the Marshall condition is p squared is equal to 2 by alpha prime. This is the tachyon because p is stationary. Space-like dispersion. Okay. So p squared is equal to 4 over alpha prime, which is the dispersion relation of the ground state to the bosonic state, has become p squared equals 2 by alpha. You halve the mass of the tachyon. You might think of that as progress. It's not much progress. The instability is an instability. Both are steady state instabilities. Okay. So we've got a tachyon, and this looks bad. But let's keep track of something else. What is the fermion number of the tachyon? Okay? Now we have a very clear definition of fermion. You see, because we're going to assign the identity operator 0 for obviously. The identity operator is nothing. And we know what the operator dual to the NS vacuum is. So what is the fermion number of the NS vacuum? It is e to the power minus 5 and therefore it is minus 1. Minus 1 to the F is minus 1. Is this clear? Now there's no ambiguity anymore. You see, the ambiguity that you might have thought, how do I know what fermion number the vacuum has? That sounds confusing. But when you think of it this way, how do I know what fermion number the identity operator has? There's no confusion. It would be inconsistent to assign the identity operator any charge except 0 under any condition. Because any operator is identity times that operator. So it would just be an inconsistency to have the identity operator assign any charge. Okay? So for consistency, the only correct way to think of it is identity is state corresponding to the identity operator is fermion number 0. That doesn't mean that the vacuum is fermion number 0. In particular, we just deduce the vacuum is fermion number minus coming from the closest. Okay? Now let's go on to the next level. Now let's try to excite some oscillators. If we want to get massless states, anything with n larger than half will give us massive states, massive string states. But n equals half is fine, that gives us massless states. So let's work those out. So n equals half, how do we get that? The only way to get that, psi minus half 0. Because I'm working on only the left mover, we'll cancel the right moving side. Okay? This has p squared is equal to 0. And what is the fermion? Minus 1 to the power f is equal to 1. Because 1 unit fermion charge from the vacuum is cancelled by 1 unit fermion charge from the psi. Operator dual to the psi times e to the power minus 5. or e to the power IH times e to the power x, right? So that's even for that. Okay? Great. So, okay. So now let's see. So what are the states? What are the states? By level matching, okay, if we've got this state on the left, we have to have a similar state on the right, because p square is just p square, so it must be 0. So that tells you that this thing must vanish. So you've got a similar state on that, right? So actually, we also cycled our minus half. But use another letter. Oh, thank you. Okay, but we come back to this left, right, the mixing between left and right at the moment. Now I'll just remind you, ignore this. Fine. So these are the states that obey the L0 condition. But we still have to satisfy the condition that LMs for all positive m's and I make the state. And we have to satisfy the condition that the gauge condition. So let's see. So, firstly, now this state is a state of energy minus half over the vacuum. Okay. So, there is exactly one object of the LMs and GMs that, when acting on the state, is not guaranteed just by energy considerations to be true. What is that? G half, right? Because G half has energy half lower than the state, but there is a state with energy half lower than the state, namely the vacuum. Right. So anything else, all the other conditions, L1, G3 halves acting on the state are automatically zero, because there are just no states in the system with the appropriate energy, so it must automatically vanish. But G half acting on this need not happen. So let's work out G half. Okay, so G half we've written down. You see why we only wrote down the parts with the side halves. That's all I'm saying. Yeah? So G half here, the only thing that's non-zero. You see, this part will be annihilated by alpha 1. But this part will not. So we will get. So suppose we had A mu times M. This will give us P mu A mu. Is this clear? More generally, if we reinstate this can put some alpha mu, then we would get the condition P mu of alpha mu mu is equal to P mu of alpha mu mu. This is a physical state. Okay? And finally, there's the gauge condition. The gauge condition tells you that a shift in this thing, alpha mu nu, but let's work it out. So first, the gauge condition is equivalencing by a state, equivalencing a state of energy half above the vacuum by L minus M on something or G minus M on something. Now there's only one candidate for something you could work out. What is that? It's G minus M on vacuum. Minus half on vacuum. Because that's the only thing that could have, of that form, that could have energy half on the vacuum. And if you try L minus 1, on any state it would be at least half a unit of energy larger than that. Okay, so G minus half on the vacuum is what? G minus half on the vacuum is annihilated by this, but is not annihilated by this. Because the vacuum is just the oscillator vacuum, it's not zero. Okay? So, G minus half of this basically tells you that ignoring this for a moment, if it was just alpha mu times this, it would be the equivalent of alpha mu is equal to alpha mu plus. And that is true if you put it in this alpha mu language. This is equal to alpha mu plus anything, c mu plus anything else. P mu plus P mu times P. All of these are maybe you can put an arbitrary thing on left. Arbitrary left moving state and right moving vacuum at G minus half of that, you will get this state. And similarly the other way. Okay. So this is exactly the results we got for the master sector and the bosonic string. From a very different place, by the way. We got it by states that were level 1 oscillators of the bosonic part of the oscillators acting on the vacuum. The physical state condition that was operated was L minus 1. Sorry, L1. The gauge condition that was operated was L minus 1. But though the origin seems very different in this mode of presentation, the ways of thinking of it in which the origin is not different. Though the origin seems very different, the result is the same. Okay? We've got our master states being forced to obey these conditions. P squared is equal to 0. And exactly as in our analysis of the bosonic string. Okay, for instance, you remember we went through this general argument that put this in one-to-one correspondence with the states of line code quantization. Okay. So it's exactly, you play the same game exactly again. You get the states of line code quantization, which is essentially eliminating where all these conditions are placed by eliminating the two transverse dimensions. Okay. So from the little group point of view, what you've got is an arbitrary symmetric 8 cross 8 tensor. Symmetric tensor, arbitrary tensor, not symmetric, anti-symmetric. Of SO8, which can be decomposed into the symmetric part, the anti-symmetric part, and the trace. And the field content corresponding to that is the graviton, the symmetric part, which is the symmetric part, the B medial field, which is the anti-symmetric part, and the trace, which is the dip. Okay, so in the MF sector, what we found is states with -1 to the power f is equal to 1, and the state, when we put in both the left and the right moving sectors together, the field content is that of the graviton, the dilaton, and the beam. Just like for the superstring, just like for the bosonic string, only in a slightly different way of happening. Okay? What about the Raman sector? Okay, so what about the Raman sector? In the Raman sector, actually the analysis is even easier. Because the master states in the Raman sector, we got L0 is equal to alpha prime squared P squared by 4 plus n. There's no minus half. The vacuum energy is not there. Okay. So the only way to get massless or lower is to take n equals 0. So n is equal to 0. So that tells us that P squared is equal to 0. We've got massless, we've got master sector. And since the n is equal to 0, we're in the vacuum, we're in the Ramon vacuum. Okay? The only condition that is operative is that coming from G0. Okay? And the G0 condition is G0. Okay, so suppose we've got some state. The condition is that G0 acts on that state in 0. But G0, we've cleared it. So G0 is simply equal to P mu times psi 0. Okay? This acts on the set of Ramon sector vacua, because none of these oscillators carry any energy. So it acts within the set of Ramon sector vacua. And you remember that we argued right at the beginning of this class that the commutation relations of psi 0 essentially transform them into gamma matrices on the space of Ramon sector vacua. Right? So this becomes the equation P mu gamma mu equal to 0 or del slash of state is equal to 0. Okay? And so it gives you a Dirac-like equation. It gives you a Dirac-like equation for purely the left movers. Now, what states we form in the full closed string out of these Ramon sector guys? There are many possibilities. We could take the state in the Ramon sector of the left mover, the Ramon sector of the right mover. Or we could take the state of the Ramon sector of the left mover and the NS sector of the right. Now, if we take it to be the NS sector of the right mover, we're not allowed to use the tachyonic NS sector. Why not? No, we're not yet imposed it. More simple. Level 9. Well, P square is 0, it's 0. Okay. So you can only match P square equals 0 states with P square equals 0 states. Okay? So it would have to be one of these guys. Yeah. So that would then become the tensor product of a spinner with a vector. You see, we got this tensor because we put left mover and right. But now we're doing it only in the right sectors. We have just this guy. So this would be like a vector with the usual vector kind of case. Okay, tensor product with a spinner. Okay, that will give us this both the Varita Schwinger spinner as well as an ordinary spinner. Okay, as we discussed before. And if we get product of states in the Ramon sector and the Ramon sector, Ramon with Ramon, we will get forms. Because spinner with spinners forms. Okay? And this equation of d slash on either side being 0 will impose equations of motion of these forms. What these are we studying. Okay? The last thing we want to talk about is the -1 to the f of x. Okay? So let's look at our spinners. So our spinners, let's look at spinner e to the power I h1 by 2 plus h2 by 2 plus h5 by 2. Now remember the vertex operator also includes an function. So this object has fermion number plus phi half minus half, which is equal to 2. Okay? Now it's clear that if I change two of these to minuses, that will change the fermion number only by an even integer amount. Okay? So the rule is that all such states with an even number of minuses have minus 1 to the power f is equal to 0. Is this clear? Because if I flip one of these to minus, I change the fermion number by 1 unit. If I flip two of them to minus, I change it by 2 units. But states, remember, these are the states of the spinner. These are just the weights under the kaptan. What is the name for the spinner in which the number of minuses is equal? It's a chiral spinner, exactly. On the other hand, if the number of minuses was odd here, it would have the opposite minus 1 to the x. So, minus 1 to the x here acts as plus 1 on chiral spinners. And then at minus 1 on anti-chiral spinners. Of course, which one is plus 1 and which one is minus 1 is a matter of convention. The convention lies in my definition of fermion. I could have as well in my definition of fermion number assigned charge minus 1 to the h's. Yeah, flip the sign of. Yes, I could have done that independently for each of the h's. That's just choosing a different, basis of spinners and different choice of chirality. Okay? But that the two opposite spinners can opposite minus 1 to the x is not. It's not a choice of convention. That's the only important thing. Okay? So, in the Raman sector then we've got, if we just have one side of the string, we will have spinner. It's two different chiralities of different powers of minus 1. Okay? Now, the camera is blinking, so we're almost at time. So now in order to really read off the spectrum, the master spectrum of any particular string, right, we need to work out this GS of projection. But we're going to approach this whole subject more systematically than we did last time. We're not going to just say, this is the projection we impose. What we're now going to do is to undertake an exercise, or what we'll do next lecture is to undertake an exercise to look at a large class of possible projections and then zero in on all consistent ones. You see what are requirements of consistency. Okay? And that will lead us to a few consistent ones. So I won't tell you the spectrum with the JS of projection yet. Let's wait till we understand the GeoGebra. But we've done this once, right? In a very rough way in the class. So you know the answer. But let's wait for the more systematic. Okay, the last thing I want to tell you about this class, and I'm going to spend a little more time on it, but let me just, it's very similar to the discussion we had, the same thing for the bosonic string. This is indeed why we discussed the bosonic string in such detail. In a simpler technical concept, the context we encountered many of the conceptual things. So now, often in this game, when we come across something where the story is essentially identical to the bosonic string, I say, you work it out yourself because it's essentially identical to the long discussion we had on the same subject. In this case, a 2-lecture long discussion on the bosonic string. And the discussions that we're going to have is about beyond string. So the first thing I have to tell you about is the current. So remember, the BRST current was equal to C times the matter strength. Okay? And now we want some natural supersymmetrization of this object. So I'm just going to write it down. It doesn't seem too unnatural to have gamma times Tn. The supercurrent, the thing that was dead x times psi. Okay? And then plus we had half C times P of the BC system. So it doesn't seem too unnatural to have the half gamma times Tn times Tf of the beta gamma. Right, it should be dimension 1. the TF of the ghost. This TF is not Fermi on the ghost of the known as a full matter system. So TF, so this is TF matter T, and this will then be this ghost stuff. So TG plus TH. M stands for matter, F stands for the fermionic current, and G stands for constant. Okay, so there is at least in the trial J that one can. Now, there are many, we wrote, in the case of the bosonic string, we just wrote down this without these two pieces. And there were many things that we had to check very carefully. There are several things that we have to check carefully. One of the things we have to check carefully was that this current did transform as a primary under conformal transformations. That is, that the OP between the stress tensor and this current contained no spurious singularities. No 1 over z cubed. Okay? Further, we have to check that the JOP contained no 1 over z squared terms, because that would represent an anomaly in Q squared, in the charge squaring to 0. Okay? I would like you to check that all these properties continue to hold for this system, for this BRST current, provided simply that, assuming only that the matter stress tensor is a matter stress tensor with central charge 50. The BC system we know, the beta gamma system we know. The matter system is some system with central charge 50. Assuming nothing else, all those properties continue to hold. All the good properties of the BRST current that we studied laborious details of the bosonic string continue to hold with this construction. You'll see, of course, that if C is not equal to 15, all these statements will be anomalous. But when C is equal to 15, they're nice. Okay, so at least this construction gives us a plausible BRST current. The next thing I want you to see is that this BRST current commutes without fermion charge, with -1 TF. Because TF has fermion charge 1, this is del psi. It's psi del